I'm the only one left in the house after the big family gathering packed up and drove away years ago. Everyone I held close is gone. My wife went first, then the old crew from the shop, then even the fellows I used to trade stories and arguments with. Before each one slipped away, they all leaned in with that same question. What's your secret, Frank? And every time I gave the same straight answer, clean food. I meant it too. But watching one after another leave, I saw it clear. The ones who stuck to perfect plates, who moved their bodies like machines every single day, they faded just as fast as the ones who lived loose. So what made the difference? I've had long, quiet stretches to turn that question over. Food was never the real key to hanging on this long. When I was younger, like you, I thought getting the meals right would fix the whole picture. After the losses piled up, though, I started seeing different. My name is Frank. I'm 98 years old. I spent 43 years fixing cars and trucks in my garage shop. Folks come around, reporters with their recorders, doctors with their questions, neighbors curious from word of mouth. They're all chasing the same thing, the list. What exactly do you eat, Frank? How many hours in bed? Any special routines or supplements? I give them the list. They write it down carefully. They head out feeling like they got the map. I'll share the list with you right now, too. But if I stop at that, you'll leave the same way they did, pleased, but having missed everything that matters. Not a single one ever pulled up a chair and asked the questions that really counted. Frank, what kept the fire going when the rooms emptied out? Frank, how do you face another morning at 98 and still feel the day is worth stepping into? I waited for those questions my whole life. They never came. Everyone wanted the breakfast details, the sleep numbers. If a solid night's rest by itself could add years, plenty of the people I knew would have outlasted the mountains. You might be wondering about that list this minute. Fair enough. A bowl of oatmeal most mornings, stirred with a touch of real honey. Fresh fish twice a week when it's available. Vegetables pulled right from the earth. Hearty bread, clean water, and my strong black coffee. No powders from cans, no vitamin jars lining the counter. And yes, I admit it freely, sometimes a piece of warm apple pie after the evening meal, or a cold beer when the night air bites. I never starved myself down, never turned a good meal into punishment. The people who made food their whole faith, counting every crumb and carrying guilt to the table, they mostly walked around heavy and unhappy. And unhappy people, in my long experience, don't last as long as they could. There was one doctor, I forget the exact stretch of years, it was way back, a confident young man who came into the shop regular. He told me flat out one afternoon, while I was under a hood, that my numbers and habits were going to cut me short before 65. I outlived him by a good margin. Found out when his family stopped by later. I didn't offer words, just finished the job and sent them on their way. Jot down the list if you like. It's real and it worked for me. But the next part is the one that actually holds weight, far beyond any food chart. Nutrition is only a small slice. Back in the days when I was still elbow deep in engines every week, I had this steady customer for a long stretch. Same old pickup truck rolling in month after month. I never forgot his name. Dr. Bennett, the nutrition specialist, author of books, speaker at events. He knew every detail about meals, what to include, what to ban, portions down to the ounce, times of day. While I worked, I'd catch him on calls in the waiting area, guiding his patients on what to drop from their plates. Learned more listening from my toolbox than in any schoolroom. One day I cleaned my hands and put it to him direct. Doctor, what's the true secret for a long, strong life? He paused, then replied, Frank, eat clean, sleep solid, steer clear of stress. I followed with, and you? You doing all three? The shop fell quiet. He looked at me and said, clean eating, yes. Sleep, fine. But the stress, I never got a handle on that one. Dr. Bennett left in his 70s. I attended the gathering, offered my hand to his widow. I remember him often. Here was a man with all the knowledge, all the pages written, yet the one weight he named and still carried crushed him anyway. If any list could have kept him going forever, he would have been the proof. But no list could. The real answer sat somewhere else entirely. I came to that because of Clara. Clara and I shared 55 years of marriage. 55. I did the husband things that show on paper. I worked steady, came back every night, stayed true. But she repeated the same gentle words through the years. Frank, you're sitting here beside me, but your head is still out in that garage with the tools. Come home to me fully now. Those words became part of what carried me through to today. When I finally put the wrenches away for good, I drifted for months on end. No more calls for repairs, no schedules holding me. I'd wake, fix the coffee, drop into the chair, and just wait for anything to pull me. Month 1, the same. Month 2, the same. Clara would walk through, offer another cup. I'd nod. That became the full day. My life had turned into an old man simply marking time until the end. If nothing waits for you in the coming light, your body starts listening and gets ready to answer. Then, one morning, something stirred me toward the shed. I don't recall the reason. There lay an old scrap of pine against the bench, and I grabbed a knife. Began cutting without plan. Hours slipped by, hands rough, wood curls on the floor, but I'd shaped the beginnings of a simple box. When I stepped back inside, Clara stood there watching. She said nothing at first, but her eyes told everything. She'd been holding that look for years. A purpose had found me, even if small, and I followed. Past 75, I took up carving daily. Small boxes, canes, little figures. Nothing sold, nothing grand. Just something to hold and shape while the light lasted. Those modest routines fueled me forward. Had I stayed planted in that chair through those years, this story wouldn't be reaching you now. Day after day, I handed myself a reason to rise. Nothing flashy, debating the weather with myself out loud, starting an old tune on the player when the sun dipped, catching the exact way the afternoon glow filled the room like clockwork. Tiny things, almost foolish, yet they pointed the day somewhere. The quickest to go, I noticed, retired from their work and their spark at once. They settled in, plates full of right food, and the body understood the cue. Here's the piece I held back until now, the one that weighs the most. Clara passed 8 years back. Time starts running together at this length. The morning right after, habit woke me early. I went to the kitchen and prepared 2 mugs of coffee, placed them both down, and stared across at hers. I couldn't touch mine. Didn't empty hers either. Just sat with the pair. Coffee turned cold. Light shifted across the walls. An hour, maybe longer, slid past. At some point it hit me. I was still drawing breath, still planted there, and the hours kept rolling on without me. So I rose, walked to the shed, took up the carving again, did my short loop around the property, returned, picked up the phone, and called my daughter Emily. We didn't dive deep, just shared ordinary words. And inside that simple, aching, unremarkable stretch of time, I unearthed a small reason. Not mighty, just sufficient to keep going. This is the single, genuine secret I own. Every single day, you must hunt for a reason. Some mornings it's small enough to cup in your palm. My daughter Emily, now 73, reached out one spring day saying she'd been thinking of stopping over. Her days were packed. She'd come once things calmed. I answered plain, "Emily, I'm 98 years old. Come see me while I can greet you, or come later when it's too late. The choice sits with you." She arrived that very weekend. We stayed on the porch talking through the afternoon and into evening. She unloaded burdens she'd carried 30 years. I spoke the words I'd waited too long to say. She visits every few weeks these days. Every few weeks. Keeping solid people around you isn't a bonus. It's part of the engine that keeps you running. I understand that fully now. And one final truth, because 98 leaves no room for pretending. Some of reaching here is sheer luck. My father saw 92. My mother went past 89. The body handed to me at birth had decent wiring. My name is Frank. I'm 98 years old. This morning, I rose at my usual time, fixed the coffee, spent a few minutes in the shed with my tools. Grip isn't what it was, but the wood still listens. I set an old record playing, eased into this chair, looked over at the empty spot, and whispered, "Good morning," like always. Eat real food. Move your body a bit each day. Hold good people close. Find something, no matter how small, that makes opening your eyes feel right. But more than any of those, stop merely getting through your days like there's something to endure. A man can hit 98 and still have left the building early, and all the time he spent waiting to get somewhere else.